Here's the full English translation of the 3 terrifying stories you shared in a clear and engaging way. The Man Under the Bed. When I was 22 years old, I lived in the basement apartment of my parents' house. It was kind of private, but not 100%, especially since my parents would sometimes leave but could come back at any moment. So I couldn't fully relax or invite friends over freely. One weekend, my parents were traveling, so I thought, finally, time to enjoy myself. I invited 2 of my friends, Anthony and Jay, and we started drinking and watching a hockey game with the music blasting. Later at night, my friends decided to crash at my place since they had been drinking. I went to my bedroom and fell asleep, but in the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps upstairs. I assumed one of the guys went up to get water from the fridge. I tried to go back to sleep, but then I heard my bedroom doorknob turning. Luckily, I always lock my door out of habit. I figured maybe Jay tried the wrong door by mistake. I fell back asleep, but the next morning when I asked Jay, he didn't remember trying to open my door. He was too drunk. The next day, I got home late, totally exhausted. As soon as I turned off the TV, I heard those same footsteps above me again. My heart started pounding. I tried to brush it off, until the doorknob turned again. This time, I didn't ignore it. I grabbed my phone and started texting my parents, Jay and Anthony, but no one replied. Then I heard a gentle knock on my door. I locked myself in and hid behind my dresser with a hammer in hand. I sat there, frozen, for about 10 minutes before finally calling the police. I whispered on the phone and asked them to come to my bedroom window. When an officer arrived, I handed him the side door key through the window. They came in and searched the place, but when they reached my parents' room upstairs, I heard shouting. I peeked and saw the officers dragging a dirty, terrifying man from under my parents' bed. They asked, "Do you know this man?" I said, "Absolutely not. He looked homeless or insane, and he gave me the most disturbing stare." The police said we could file a report if we wanted, but since nothing was stolen, my parents didn't pursue legal action. Most likely, the man entered while we were partying with the door unlocked and music blasting. Or worse, he had been inside the house for days and we didn't know. That's story 2, the creepy cabin in the woods. After getting tired of city life, I moved into a wooden cabin in upstate New York, totally secluded, with a little lake behind the house where I loved to fish. But 2 weeks ago, the peace shattered. One night I was sitting on the deck when I heard the snap of a twig in the distance. I brushed it off, probably a deer or raccoon. The next night I heard scratching on the spare bedroom window. I got up, heart racing, and peeked through the curtains. No one was there. Each night the sounds grew more frequent, scratching, tapping on the glass, and even whispers from inside the walls. I told myself it could be a mouse or animal. I grabbed a crowbar and checked the room, found nothing. But when I opened the closet, I saw a torn piece of cloth caught in the corner. It wasn't mine. A horrible realization hit me. Someone had been in that room, and I didn't know. The next night I decided to be brave. But then I saw him, a shadowy figure standing outside the window. I called the police and bolted into the woods. When I reached the edge of the property, I saw flashing police lights. I hid and watched them search the house, but I didn't stick around to see the results. I haven't been back since. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the scratching and tapping. Whoever was watching me, they're still out there. Story 3. The Creepy Uncle. I was 15 and my parents had gone to the casino for the night. I was home alone with my dog, Abby. I was on the laptop when suddenly Abby started barking at the living room door. I looked outside, saw nothing, and went back to my room. But the barking kept getting worse. Then I heard knocking on the doors, especially the basement door underneath the house. Abby suddenly ran downstairs and started growling fiercely. I stood frozen, terrified. The sound stopped and she came back. I quickly locked the basement door. I was about to call 911 when my parents walked through the front door. The next morning, someone knocked at the door. It was my Uncle Pete, holding an envelope with a thank you card and a gift card for helping his daughter with softball. When my dad asked him about last night, Pete casually said he tried stopping by. That's when we realized Uncle Pete was the one creeping around the house last night. Can you imagine? All that terror, and it was him. And this wasn't the first time he'd acted weird. He always gave off strange vibes at family gatherings. If you'd like, I can turn these stories into a spooky podcast script or summarize them for TikTok or YouTube Shorts. And by the way, don't miss this. Only once a year comes a legendary offer from iHerb. Use the exclusive discount code below to save big on your favorite health and wellness products, ZPJ555. Click here to shop iHerb with the code .iherb.com and our code is ZPJ555. Copy the code before it vanishes.